My name is Dr. Alyssa Gould, and I am with All Spine Chiropractic and Wellness. I wanted to share a few lower body stretches that may help with lower back pain. The first stretch is the Cat-Cow, Cat-Camel. This stretch allows you to expand your rib cage and stretch out your spine. It is recommended to do 3 sets of 10. You want to exhale when you're elongating your spine, looking up to the ceiling. You want to inhale when you are arching your back, curling your chin to your chest. The next position is the child's pose. You start in the quadruped position, and then you slide your hands up forward above your head in about a 45-degree position. I like to rotate my thumbs up to the ceiling to get a little bit more of a stretch in my lat muscles. And then you sink your lower half into your heels, so you slowly rock backwards, and then you want to hold this for about 30 seconds to a minute. I also recommend that you breathe into your stomach, expanding your stomach. That way you get a full expansion of your lower back and your rib cage. The next position is the thread the needle stretch. You perform this on both sides. After you sink into your heels, you go back into the quadruped position, but then rotate your torso, bringing an arm underneath you. You hold this position for 30 seconds, and then you relax. I'd like to sink back into the child's pose following bilateral stretches. That way I can feel the difference in asymmetry between different muscles or different sides of the body to see how the stretches have felt and how they compare prior to each child pose position. The next stretch is a lunge stretch that helps stretch your hip flexors and your glute. When you are in the lunge position, you want the knee to be over top of the ankle. That way it almost looks like a 90-degree angle. You sink into the stretch and you hold that for 30 seconds. I also recommend putting your hand next to your knee to help support the knee, guiding it to stay straight in a proper joint alignment. A lot of times our body likes to cheat and it will try to rotate or outwardly bow, which will not allow proper alignment and the stretch that we would like to have. The next stretch that I fell into was a hamstring stretch. You lean your body backwards from the lunge position, keeping the knee straight, toe is pointed to the ceiling, and then the opposite knee and the opposite hip are in alignment or straight above one another. Then I go back into a lunge position, but this time the lunge position is in a 45-degree angle where the ankle and the knee are about 45 degrees from each other. This allows for a deeper stretch within the hip flexor. Again, I am supporting the knee, making sure that it does not bow outwards. That way I'm getting more of a straight alignment stretch. Falling back into the hamstring stretch again, I'd like to note that you do want to try to make sure that your back stays straight. There is going to be a slight arch depending on your flexibility. With that being said, you want to start with your fingertips, work your way to your fists, and then work your way down to your palms when it comes to placement on the ground. I caught myself cheating, so I went to my fingertips and retried the stretch. Perform each stretch on both sides. We are going back into the lunge stretch that helps stretch your hip flexors. You can see how I'm actually supporting the knee now that my knee is closer to the camera. Again, you want to hold each of your stretches at least 30 seconds to a minute. That way it's most effective. Here, I caught myself looking down and I decided to look up to the wall in front of me to elongate my spine. This allows the stretch to be even more effective within the lower back. Now I'm back into the hamstring stretch, again with a straight knee, foot pointed to the ceiling, and then my opposite hip and opposite knee in alignment or underneath one another. Now you also see the opposite 45-degree lunge stretch where you see that instead of my knee being over top of my ankle, it's now a little bit angled to again allow for a different type of stretch for the muscle fibers of the hip flexor. Every stretch should be held 30 seconds to a minute. I fall back into the hamstring stretch twice because I have really tight hamstrings and it felt good. If there is any specific stretch that you enjoy and like, please allow yourself to sit and rest in the stretch to give your body more relief. And as I said before, I just did 3 stretches that were on one side and then I did it on the other side. So I just did bilateral stretches. So I like to even myself out with the child's pose again to see and feel where tension may be lingering. The next position I perform is the thoracic opener position. You start in the quadruped position, so wrists are below shoulders, knees are below hips, and then you place your arm behind your head. Then you open your torso to one of the walls. When you do this, you will not force your shoulder or look with your head. It all is with your torso. The movement is with your torso. A lot of people will accidentally cheat by turning their head or using their shoulder to create the motion, but it all should be within the thoracic spine. Then last but not least, I perform the Cobra pose where you extend your back upwards, keeping your pelvis on the floor, and hold that position. Oh, I lied. Of course, I end with the child's pose.